Hello, and welcome to page 8 of volume 2 of my graphic novel of comic strips titled Founder. So I'm recording this in the middle of the week. It's actually Thursday morning, Pi Day, 3/14, and they released the new Avengers Endgame trailer, and that was pretty interesting and exciting, and I look forward to watching that. Depending on what they do next, Marvel, I think I'm about done. I think I'm about burned out. They're entertaining, but the idea that they've come to the end of a complete story is satisfying to me, so I could watch this movie and that would be a good finish, I'm hoping. I can't keep up. There are some movies in phase 1 through 3 that I haven't watched, and I probably am not going to get to, and I have other things that I need to do with my money and time. So I think Endgame will be a satisfying ending, and I'll carry on and probably pick and choose here and there what I watch. The Mobius movie sounds interesting, and the next Venom with Carnage, that all sounds interesting. But that's my thoughts on that. I was just excited to see the trailer. It was cool, so I thought I'd mention it. This page, I have no idea what happened to my carpenter's pencil. I must have lost it. It's somewhere else, and I just didn't want to search for it, so I just used a plain old number 2. Some of these number 2s are really cool, but I try not to use them anymore if I can help it, because I get too detailed too quickly and too bogged down in the details rather than the large shapes. And I've discussed all this before, so I won't dwell on it too long. It was just because I couldn't find the carpenter's pencil. Some of the panels in here, especially like the second one, or the top one in the upper right hand side, has some really cool drawings of the robots running. I thought that was neat. That's some of the Chris Bachelo influence there. I can definitely see, and I just really like the way the guy draws. I always thought it would be like Todd McFarlane, Jim Lee, or Mark Silvestri that influenced me, but in the end, I think it's Chris Bachelo, and some of his stuff with Spider-Man and just the artwork that I've seen out of him has been really good and really influential, especially in the last 10 years. I find myself drawn to how he does stuff. So this page has them wondering what to do after the rage quit by Lift, and they look around and they realize that the caveman has left them as well, and so they take off following him, and like the little Chihuahua dog with the pit bull, they start bouncing around him like, where are we doing, what are we doing? We have a mission we're supposed to do, and blah blah blah, and he's just whistling, going on his way, ignoring all the robots bouncing around him. They get to the end here and they realize that this guy is not by himself. He's got a family, and this gives them the opportunity to study things, but they're surprised by the fact that there's more, considering it took them so long to discover the dinosaurs that were all around them when they first landed. These robots are particularly unobservant for having to be so observant in their jobs. Maybe that was part of their programming getting damaged in the wreck. I don't know. Maybe I can retcon that. But the last panel there is huge, and it's got lots of plant life and landscapey stuff, and that's the kind of stuff that I really like to draw. Some of my later stories have like cityscapes and buildings and so on, so I'm going to have to learn how to draw that believably coming up here as soon as I finish this story. It's either going to be the next story or the one after the next story. I'll have to learn how to draw buildings believably in a style that's consistent, which I've always had a problem with, and I have no problems admitting that. I've been more of a landscape artist, even when I was doing the fine art thing in college and so on. I was always doing nature scenes instead of buildings. The buildings always gave me a hard time. I always did more abstract, reflective kind of buildings, and I don't think that I think that might be difficult to pull off traditional comic book art. I'm either going to have to decide to switch or learn real quick. So we'll go from there. So the robots discover that there's a whole group of these people that they've discovered, and I introduce in this last panel the family, the wife, and the two children, the twins. It's basically Adam and Eve and Cain and Abel after the expulsion from Eden. They're living in a cave. They're setting up, a life after, and he's basically bringing the robots back to his home. And the rest of the chapter is the humor that stems from them being brought to this situation. So that's where the humor is going to derive from. I'm getting better at this as I go. I'm doing my best. I imagine that the Volume 2 will end and will look a lot better than Volume 1, and Volume 3, when I do that next, will look leaps and bounds better than Volume 1 and a little better than Volume 2. And that's the name of the game. The name of this game is just to keep going, keep improving, make little adjustments, and to get better. And I think that is your lesson for life right there, is to keep at it, whatever it is. Just keep at doing what you love, and you'll get better at it, or what you're struggling with, and you'll get better at it. And I believe I've said that a few times before now, but it's a truism. And just like in the Bible when Jesus said something over and over again, or he kept coming back to a subject, I keep coming back to this. It's important. You should probably pay attention to this. But that's my message to anybody that's listening, and also to my kids or grandkids or great-grandkids and future generations when YouTube is still around and these videos are floating around in cyberspace and they stumble across them. And their great-great-grandfather is still young and talking at the age of 40 instead of the old man who sits in his recliner at 95 or whatever and jabbers at them about whatever technology they're into then. I hope I'm not a cranky old man. Anyway, thank you for watching and for listening to me ramble and to carry on the story. Thanks for your support. Joe, thanks for hanging in there with me. And we're going to do some advertising and try to bring some more people in. And I need to purchase some paper, so I think that is what the money is going to be designated for. Alright, take care. I'll see you next week. Enjoy, have fun, make something.